covering major news across San Diego. You're watching 10 News Midday.
There was anger over Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger's commutation of a convicted killer sentence, and now legislation is being proposed to prevent this type of thing.
10 News reporter Steve Fiorina joins us now with who's involved in this and how they intend to get the law passed. Steve?
Well, Bill, it goes back to just last month. In the final hours before he left office, Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger almost cut in half the prison term for Esteban Nunez, the son of a political friend, the former Speaker of the California Assembly. Now the district attorney and the victim's parents are part of the effort to change the law.
Esteban Nunez was initially sentenced to 16 years in prison for his role in the stabbing death of college student Luis Santos in the fall of 2008. Governor Schwarzenegger shortened the sentence to 7 years just before he left office, saying 16 years was excessive since Nunez didn't inflict the fatal wound. That sparked outrage in the district attorney's office and with the parents of the victim. Today we'll hear about proposed legislation to curb the governor's power to commute prison terms. And Fred and Kathy Santos will be in San Diego in support.
I'm very disturbed. I cannot believe that he did such a sneaky thing on his last day in office.
We're just numb and we're angry at the same time because we think this is gross injustice.
I spoke with Fred Santos just minutes ago as he and his wife were boarding a plane up in the Bay Area en route to Lindbergh Field, and they are as focused as ever. We'll look at that proposed legislation and the emotion accompanying it tonight on 10 News at 5 and later newscasts, as well as providing in-depth information on our webpage, 10news.com. Steve Fiorina, 10 News.
Steve, thank you. 2 men are in custody in connection with a huge drug bust at Imperial Beach this morning. We've been following the story for you since it broke at 4:30.
And we've just learned that the value of the pot alone is worth almost $700,000. 10 News reporter Rachel Bianco with how police intercepted the shipment.
People who live here along 7th Street say for the most part it's quiet. They were shocked to find out that hundreds of bales of marijuana were found inside this house. You could see officers inside the garage of the home late Wednesday night. We've concealed their faces because they're undercover. They passed bale after bale of marijuana, enough to fill the beds of 2 pickup trucks. More than half a ton of pot confiscated, but that's not all. Investigators say they also seized meth, cocaine, and $1,000 cash.
They could be distributed anywhere. They could go to other distributors, they could have gone direct sales, they could end up on the streets, they could have ended up anywhere. It's a really good thing that we got them off the streets before they were able to go anywhere.
Investigators don't know where the drugs were headed or where they came from. Police say they got a tip that this U-Haul would be used to deliver and or pick up drugs from the 2-story rental home in the 500 block of 7th Street. Neighbors say they never saw much activity at the house, but they also say this is the second drug bust in this neighborhood in recent months.
I feel safe where I'm at. It doesn't really surprise me though.
I mean, that's pretty astonishing how that influx even gets through a community like this. But like I said, it's sad that people that aren't from this area come and give the city a bad reputation.
One neighbor told us the people who live here only moved in a few months ago, and she thought it was odd. There were always expensive cars outside, but it didn't appear there was any furniture inside the house. In Imperial Beach, Rachel Bianco, 10 News.
Police arrested 37-year-old Juan Rodriguez and 35-year-old Eddie Martinez in this morning's drug bust, and now they're trying to determine if the two have criminal records and where they're from.
The 19-year-old man who caused a chain reaction crash that killed a local Marine and a young woman will be sentenced at 1:30 today. Oscar Tinoco crashed into a car full of Marines along Interstate 15 near Gopher Canyon Road back in October of 2009. 19-year-old Lance Corporal Robert Austin died in that crash, and 22-year-old Sarah Garcia Fallbrook was killed moments later when her car slammed into the wreckage. Tinoco could get up to 19 years in prison at today's sentencing. The accused drywaller bandit heads to court today to find out if he'll stand trial for a series of armed bank robberies in San Diego and Pasadena. John Oshcom was arrested earlier this month after deputies say he used a loaded gun to rob a Chase Bank in Encinitas.
A 17-year-old Mexican boy has confessed to killing a popular San Diego professor. 45-year-old Henry Acejo was found stabbed to death in his Tijuana apartment last December. Authorities in Baja arrested the teenager on Tuesday. He said he had an intimate relationship with Professor Acejo and stabbed him during an argument. Acejo taught language classes at Southwestern College, San Diego State, and San Diego Community College. A member of the UC San Diego student government says the editor of the campus newspaper, The Koala, personally attacked her with a doctored front page picture and a defamatory headline she calls obscene.
10 News reporter Itika Milanes explains how money might have motivated the attack.
We can't show you the original picture recently published in The Koala. It shows a man's genitalia in Carly Thomas's face.
Mortification.
And the headline next to it says, Carly Thomas is a fat whore.
Just kind of fell apart and called my mom.
The student body leader believes it's retaliation for her decision to cut funding to the Koala newspaper.
It's distasteful.
A UCSD representative gave us this statement. Under the First Amendment, the university is severely limited in the actions it can take in response to content published by students.
I don't think it's free speech when it's obscene. There's, sexual harassment.
We are at the Koala.
Chris Gregorian is the Koala editor behind this controversial picture and article. 10 News couldn't find him at the newspaper's campus office. We showed the picture to UCSD students.
I would say it's disturbing and inappropriate.
And it's offensive. I understand the whole free speech thing, so I know where they're coming from, but at the same time, is it really necessary to go this far?
Thomas is fighting back, but so far, not much luck.
The UCSD police said that they couldn't take the report based on the First Amendment.
The college senior worries future employers will see the picture and move on to the next candidate. At UCSD, Itika Milanes, 10 News.
Koala's editor told 10 News he would only comment on the story if we bought him a case of beer. We didn't, since it's our policy not to pay for interviews.
Local agencies, fearing the loss of redevelopment money by March 1st, are scrambling to lock in billions with the city. The story in today's Union Tribune is by writer Roger Sholey, who's in the UT newsroom to talk with us about it right now. Roger, what are some of these projects that will lose if Governor Brown takes away the redevelopment money?
Well, almost everything you can think of in downtown and many other neighborhoods in San Diego could be affected. The North Embarcadero Visionary Plan, the proposed expansion of the convention center, numerous parks, then in the neighborhoods all sorts of housing, affordable housing ideas, improvements to streets and sidewalks. It's a whole laundry list of billions of dollars.
It's a long list. So what's being done to keep that money from going back to the state?
Well, the city's asking its citizen advisory committees to come up with their highest priorities, and then there's going to be kind of a legal maneuvering within the city to try and set up a lockbox to keep the money from going to the state. And that is very problematic because there are going to be huge legal battles, and it's possible that all this work will be for naught.
Fascinating story, Roger, in today's Union Tribune on the front page above the fold, or you can read it online by going to signonsandiego.com.
About a half an hour ago, a meeting to discuss the proposal to build a football stadium in Los Angeles got started. The proposed billion-dollar stadium would be adjacent to the Staples Center. The president of Anschutz Entertainment Group, which is proposing the stadium, says it will not cost any taxpayer money and will create 20,000 to 30,000 jobs. The proposal is contingent on an NFL team being approved for Los Angeles. Billionaire Ed Roski has a competing proposal for a stadium in the City of Industry about 30 miles from downtown.
The city of El Cajon is now taking nominations for its Youth of the Year awards. Two of them, a middle school student and a high school student, will be honored for good deeds and community service. Nominations will be accepted by El Cajon through the 11th of next month. You can actually get a form on our website, 10news.com. Just click on the red TV button.
San Diegans are demanding change after 10 News revealed just how much of our taxpayer dollars are going to pay for unused sick days for county employees. In numbers crunched by the Watchdog Institute, in the last 4 years alone, the county has paid out about $2.5 million in unused sick days. 10 News first broke the story on Tuesday night. Since then, the County Taxpayers Association is proposing a solution. Now, taxpayer advocates are calling for a cap on sick day payouts, similar to a $15,000 cap being debated by New Jersey's state legislature.
That is a waste of taxpayer dollars. Definitely needs to be a cap.
County Supervisor Diane Jacob is willing to consider a cap, but she says the sick day benefit is critical to attracting and retaining high-level managers to maintain the county's sterling credit rating.